What should everyone experience in their lifetime? Seeing one of your parents get so excited about doing something with you that they're almost crying. My dad and I have always gotten along, but we've also bickered a lot since I was a teenager. But last August, he and I took a road trip to New Mexico and went to these really old Native American ruins called Gila Cliffs. I highly recommend everyone go there at some point too. It's amazing. He and I were walking up the trail, and then we rounded a corner and there they were. These 500-year-old Native American ruins built into the cliffside. My dad looked over at me with a smirk on his face and a little water in his eyes and told me, "I'm so glad I get to experience this with you." My dad doesn't express a lot of emotion usually, so that was really meaningful to me. I think everyone deserves to have an experience like that with one of their parents. It's so special. Old growth forests. There is something humbling about seeing for yourself the life cycle of huge ancient trees and the incredible lush and vibrant ecosystems that exist around them as they grow, fall, decompose, and grow again over decades. A week walking across Cradle Mountain in Tasmania was life-changing for me, as it has been for many others. Making something with your own hands could be art, could be a fire, could be a carving or a tool or clay or a shelter in the woods. Creating something that came from you, and you alone, is a rewarding experience and gives one a true sense of pride. Just using your own hands and some tools to make something out of nothing makes me feel grounded, connected, and away from my troubles for a bit. As someone who comes from a country with a lot of mountains and hills, I would highly recommend going trekking to places accessible only by foot. It's really nice to see the untouched, peaceful nature existing there, without humans to ruin it. The feeling you get when you are completely eclipsed by a landscape, skyscape, or even a city sometimes. The feeling of joy that comes with recognizing how small you are in the grand scheme of the world is priceless, and I wish I could experience the wonder and all that come along with it a million times over. It's in redwood and sequoia forest, the entirety of Alaska, the desert sky in New Mexico at night. It's New York City when you step out of the subway for the first time. Being in the middle of the ocean on a giant ship and knowing that it expands farther than you would ever hope to comprehend. Beyond some measurements on Wikipedia, you and the Earth, alone together. The night sky without light pollution. Nothing has ever made me feel so connected to life than gazing into that black ocean. Another culture. It really opens your eyes and broadens your horizons to experience another culture. There's a lot to learn about the world. Love. And here I don't mean romantic love, but just love, be it from a pet, a brother, friend, or even a partner. Sonder would be another good addition. A full solar eclipse. It is one of the most unnatural things I have experienced and can understand why people for millennia have assigned supernatural attributes to it. I was watching it from beside a lake. The slow crescendo of crickets chirping as the sun turned purple and then suddenly turned into night gave me chills. Nothing has ever made me feel smaller and at the mercy of celestial bodies than that experience. Financial security. I do believe that though money can't bring happiness, when you don't have it, it can absolutely hinder it greatly. Failure, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but I feel like most, if not all, the growth I've made so far in life has been as a direct result of failure. Find friends who care deeply about you and your well-being as much as you care about theirs. Seeing the stars far away from any ambient light, where you can see the Milky Way and a steady stream of shooting stars. It's awe-inspiring and changes your perspective about your place in the universe. Eating out alone, going to a concert alone, just experiencing doing things by yourself, especially while young. Learning to be comfortable with yourself as your only company while enjoying beautiful things in life is so freeing. Being the dumb one. For some people, they're never really challenged academically, intellectually, and I think that's a shame. Being the dumbest person in a group of smart people means you have the opportunity to learn from them. It's also very humbling, in a good way. A lot of people don't experience this until college, or in grad school, or in their professional environment, and then they're totally wrecked by it. But it's also such an important experience. Being a big fish in a small pond can be beneficial, but don't avoid challenges either. I truly think you learn more being a small fish in a big pond. I heard a quote once, If you're the smartest person in the room, find another room, and I completely agree with it. The feeling to be truly loved by someone. The night sky without light pollution. Being financially stable. Bidet. Working in customer service field. It forces you to practice empathy while trying to convince your customer why they still need your service or product. LOL. To be truly loved by someone. My whole life, I was never loved. Not my parents, not people I dated or my first husband. Then I met my second husband. We will be celebrating 9 years married and 11 years together next month. He loves me more than life, and I feel it every day. To be loved is something I hope everyone gets to experience in their life. I recently went scuba diving and got certified. There's nothing like being submerged in a completely different world. The feeling of weightlessness, different colors, different creatures that you normally only see from behind a pane of glass. It's wild. Personal growth, pushing boundaries is when I feel the most alive. Piloting your own comeback, climbing out of the hole of life and getting yourself back on the path. And, truth be told, it is so much less difficult when you've got a helpful tribe, family, friends, support group, etc. in your life. Not having to live paycheck to paycheck, worrying about the next meal, or basic care and needs for themselves or children. Not having to work 3 jobs to provide and never having the time or energy to spend time and raise. Traveling alone. Traveling alone has always been an empowering experience. You meet people and go on adventures you just wouldn't otherwise. A long road trip with friends. It's a bonding experience being in a little metal box with a group of friends 4 hours at a time trying to get somewhere together. You'll drive each other crazy. You'll make each other laugh. It's truly a wonderful experience that I think everyone should have. No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. Socrates. So get jacked and stay jacked. Travel, like, real travel. Not that we can't get away. I mean a few weeks in a different country, on a different continent, in a different culture. It broadens your horizon so much. Recovering peace and content after hitting rock bottom. Living alone, going on a road trip, falling in love, sleeping outside under the night sky, writing a book, or at least trying to, learning a new language. I'm gonna say therapy, specifically talk therapy, just talking it out with a professional who can help you make sense of your thoughts. There are still so many opinions and stereotypes about therapy, mainly that you're crazy if you need it, but to have someone with no preconceived notions about you, no judgments, no agenda, but to sit there and listen and help detangle your thoughts, is a truly wonderful experience. When you find a good counselor for you, at least, you become more in tune with yourself and your thoughts, and ultimately your emotions, with the outcome often being growth in the area of emotional maturity. Highly recommend. Just being alone out in the wilderness for 3 to 4 days. No electronics, no books, just yourself. When there, you may find that you are really getting to know yourself for the first time. Getting a hug from someone who has been waiting all day to see you. That feeling of pure bliss right after you're super constipated and finally shoot out the poop missile that's been stuck in the silo. Just driving with nowhere to go, like, just hop in the car with your debit card with good music going on in the background and just explore, and if needs be find a cheap motel or something. I don't know, it kinda just helps me when I'm not doing okay just exploring, and you see a lot more even on short drives in areas you think you know well and spot little details that you miss in your daily life. Customer service jobs to give people a little more understanding and perspective of a job that some consider low-skilled work. Learn how to play a music instrument. It doesn't matter if you're not that good at it, but express yourself through music at least once. A moment where you can sit back, relax and not have a worry in the world. Shaving your head. It's an incredibly liberating feeling. No worries about bad hair days and the breeze on your head is fantastic. Going to a theme park alone. It's nice to go with friends and/or family, but trust me on this, everything is expensive. but you only have to pay for yourself. You get to be a fill-in on rides to get on them quicker, or you get a ride car all by yourself. You can check out everything at your own pace. Just browse around without worrying about what someone else wants to do or where they wandered off to. It's honestly really nice. Paying rent without fear of not being able to afford anything else for the very first time after going years of paycheck to paycheck. Life without chronic pain, just the simple absence of physical suffering, and the utter peace and joy of the delicious stillness of it. Your body a window on the beauty of the universe, connecting you to it, instead of a torture chamber cutting you off from it. Having to spend a weekend taking care of a toddler full-time, just to see how it is. If more people did that, I feel like there would be way less unplanned or even underplanned children. Everyone should experience living in another country for at least 3 months. It can change your perspective on your life, help you discover that it really is a small world, and give you a respect for another culture and language. Source: when I was a college student in the US, I lived in Italy for 6 months. Honestly, great treks with intimate connection. Nothing beats it. Spend 1 week in the shoes of someone with a life-changing disability like a quadriplegic like me. It changes your whole perspective on life. Being hired to do some cleaning, especially in restrooms, a lot of people would teach the good humility lesson and maybe would be more attentive to others.